Hello everyone. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to actually mix some of my colors because I've gotten a few requests to show my mix or talk about my recipe. And excuse me one second, I'm going to readjust my camera so that I get a better angle, and if you get dizzy, just don't watch this part. Good morning, Miss Sandra. How are you? Nope. It won't let me do that. Okay, so I guess this is just gonna have to work. Sandra, can you see what's on my table right now? Good morning. I've got coffee over there in the pot just a brewing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about my mixing because a lot of people have asked me about that. Thank you. Good morning. So first things first, when I'm gonna do a pour, I do a few things. I write down my ideas, my colors, I brainstorm, I do how many videos, what kind of pour I want to do, and then my colors. Now, I don't write down the specific colors, I just kind of get an idea of what's in my head. And then um, I'll go to my canvas area and I will pick out what size canvas I'm going to do. So I've gone ahead and I've picked out this size of canvas. It's kind of large. It's 12 inches by 6 inches. So that tells me that I need a little bit of a larger cup than this. Now I have multiple size cups. This is a 5-ounce cup. I have a 2-ounce cup. And I have a little bitty 1-ounce cup. I also have some of these cups that are a little bit taller. So once you've pinpointed the size of the cup that you want to use and the size of the canvas you're trying to cover, that's what your starting point. Now I'm going to put that to the side. Now I'm going to go ahead and talk about my pouring medium. I have been known to use GAC 800. I love GAC 800. It does the trick. It is easy to use because of the nozzle. I absolutely really love this GAC 800, but it's expensive. So my second choice is Flood Floetrol. I have them labeled because I have 2 of these little pints, and then I have like 7 gallons over there that I've stocked because it's hard to find in gallon form. So I just refill these bottles because they're easy to maintain and handle. Then I grab my Floetrol squeeze bottle. As you can see, I've used it in the past. So this is how I do my Floetrol. I have this. This is just a little cheap strainer that I buy from the Family Dollar store. And I get 2 to a pack. And that's what I use as a pouring medium. It's basically the same thing. The only thing different is this one's made for art and crafts, so it's marked up like 50 billion%. And this one's home improvement, so you can get a little cheaper. So I'm going to take and I'm going to hold my strainer up here. Thank you, Sandra. And I'm going to strain my Floetrol. The thing about Floetrol is the Floetrol that's built up on the sides dries and then it slides down into your Floetrol. And that's how you get chunks in your painting. So what I'll do is I'm going to hold this up here, and I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. And it's basically going to strain all those chunks right out into my bottle, and I'm going to have no chunks in my Floetrol. Now, I do this into a squeeze bottle simply because the squeeze bottle is just easier. It strains enough flow. I do 5 pours in one day for my YouTube channel. So it gets kind of tedious to sit this on top of each of my cups and then strain the Floetrol to the right amount when I can just strain it all at one time and be ready to go. So I'm just letting all of this strain out. Don't want to waste any. And plus I'm kind of letting it strain out a lot because I want to show you all what the lumps look like when I've strained them all out. That's not the lid. This is the lid. So I'm going to put this guy away. Okay. So do you guys see all those lumps and chunks in that? And yeah, it looks like there's a lot of bubbles in there as well. But that, you don't want that in your pour. So I like to strain those out. I do keep a bucket of water next to me, or a really mixing bowl, to put my strainers in so that they don't dry up in the strainer and get crusty and gross. And they last a little bit longer. I do replace though. So now I have my Floetrol strained. And then I also have squeeze bottles for my water. Because these things kind of help me control how much water I'm putting in my paint. Alright, so I have 7 colors here. I'm going to do a comb pour on this canvas. And I'm kind of digging this, like, in my mind, it kind of looks like a really colorful sunset. So I'm checking my spot right here for the dried up crusties, because you don't want that in your paint as either, so that's good. I'm almost out of my Master's Touch white paint, which makes me sad. I have to go buy some more. I do enjoy Master's Touch. The colors come out really vibrant, and they're kind of easy to mix. Okay. So, when you squeeze them out of the tube, it looks like that. Like toothpaste, right, guys? So it's kind of hard to determine. When you hear people say 1 part paint, 2 parts Floetrol, what I like to do, because it's kind of hard to determine, kind of spread that thick toothpastey consistency paint right out. I'm sorry for the noise, but this is how I mix. Alright, so when you look at the side, you can see how much paint is actually in that cup, right? Or get a better idea. So I think I want to add just a little bit more paint into the cup. Now that I have a good idea. Tapping it. Sometimes I tap it on my hand. So that gave me a little bit more. Okay, so now I have my white pulled out. So that's 1 part paint. And then I'm going to go 2 parts Floetrol. So I'm going to watch the side of my cup. And make sure that I'm doing this correctly. So we're going to mark off. We had about that much paint in the cup. And then I get 2 parts Floetrol. So it goes 1, 2, 3. Okay. Stir stick. I stir my paint every time I add something. No matter what. Always stir your paint. And when you're stirring your paint and your Floetrol, make sure you scrape the sides when you're doing this. It does a lot of things. It adds your Floetrol into your paint more properly. It just helps you mix it all. Just make sure you, and the bottom, you know, scrape the sides and the bottom. Now, right now you would think that I'm done mixing, but I see a few clumps in here. I wish I had another camera from the top angle so that I could give you a top view and a bottom view, but you know. So I'm just mixing it, making sure it stays mixed. So, All right. So that's pretty much mixed. So I'm going to pick this up. You see how gloopy that is? Far from poor consistency, right, you guys? When I say add your water to consistency, this is where your water bottle comes from. I've got one that's half full right here. So I just add a little bit in, like a little tiny squirt in at a time. The less water you add in at a time, it is going to take you a little bit longer. However, it is going to help you determine, and you don't want to put too much water in there, because once you start doing that, then the polymers start to break down, and all that pouring medium we put in there is, so that is a little more flowy. See that? But do you see that big glop that comes off first? Still too thick. So I'm going to add a little squirt again. I'm going to keep mixing. One of my viewers asked me to do a mixing video or talk about my recipe. The thing is, your recipe is kind of like your handwriting. Nobody's handwriting looks like yours. It's like your fingerprint. Mine is kind of straightforward, easy. I use products that I can find easily. Yep. Still too thick. Still glooping off that stick. And I eyeball this. I did go out and buy a scale. Let me show you. I went out and I bought a digital scale. I've never used it. Just totally wasted my money on that one. Because I never use it. Some people enjoy using the scale. Some people enjoy figuring out how much paint they're using versus Floetrol and everything. But to me, I just don't get the same results when I measure. I think it does have a lot to do with the, I think it does have a lot to do with the density of the paint. You know, each paint is different, and so I think the density of the paint has a lot to do with how much Floetrol you put in, and that just comes with practice as to what you want to do. So this is a little more flowy. It's one consistent thing. You see that flow? So I believe that this one is pretty much mixed. Now let's go on to a different color. Grab my little 5-ounce cup. Now these 5-ounce cups I got from Amazon, and the cool thing about them is they come with lids. So when you get done mixing and everything, if you're not going to pour right away, you can cover them up so that they don't get contaminated or dry up or thicken up too much. They will thicken up a little bit, but you just add water when that happens. So did you see me pick the crusties off of that? Like I said, you don't want crusties. Hi, Pat. Uh-oh, I added water, not Floetrol. Picked up the wrong squeeze bottle. Well, I guess I'll just mix it in. And that's another thing is, like, don't beat yourself up over accidents. You know? Sometimes they happen. So, that's just, I mean, I'm going to add water anyway. Picked up the wrong squeeze bottle. This is my Floetrol squeeze bottle. It was in the wrong spot. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to take it to about right here. Man, everything that could go wrong on this live is going wrong. Well, here we go. I guess that's why they call it live, right, guys? Alright, let's see how I'm going to save this. Well, now you guys can see what happens when you have accidents, right? So I'm just going to toss that in my bucket so it can be drying. Put that over here. Look at this accident. I have so much Floetrol in that color. Okay, where's my rag? Right there. Now, let's see. I'm just going to pop out my cups and just start adding paint into them. No crusties. Come on. Okay. Purple. Let's see. Brown. No crusties. No crusties. Yellow. And light blue. I hope you guys are getting a laugh out of my my bloopers here. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to pour some off in there. Yeah, that's about two parts. At least it's all strained already, right, guys? It's about 2 parts. All right, there is all that. Okay, now let me rinse off my Floetrol sprayer here and grab my rag. Clean that off. Okay. Grab my Floetrol. Make sure that's on tight. That's about 2 parts. Alright. Now let's try that again. Oh, there it goes. Alright. Here we go. Now we're on a roll. Okay. And has that happened to anybody else where you've accidentally put like way too much Floetrol in there because of an accident or anything? Where did my... Oh. Okay. Okay. Okay, here we go. Strain in the Floetrol. Making sure there are no clumpy clumps. Boop. Ooh, yeah, guys. Okay. Check that out. You see all those clumps in there? Again, that's why we strain our Floetrol, right? Alright. That's about good. Okay. That looks about right. That looks about right. Okay. So now I've added all my Floetrol to all my colors. Let's Grab some sticks. And we'll get to mixing. So I'm going to do what I'm calling a comb pour. And what I'm going to do is, I saw Anne-Marie Ritterhoff do this, but she didn't do the whole pour in with this thing. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if I don't read your comments right away. I am looking at the camera and my painting and all that good stuff because I don't want another accident to happen. So you see all the white flowing through that color right there? That's Floetrol. So what we're going to do is, that's why we scrape these edges, so we can incorporate that Floetrol into our colors. But I saw Anne-Marie Ritterhoff at the end of one of her videos. She took a comb and she drug it through the paint, and it gave it the most beautiful effects. And so my thinking is, I'm going to pour the paint, I'm going to drag the comb through, and then tilt it to see what kind of effect we can get out of that. So that's going to be interesting. I love watching people and grabbing ideas from them and trying to morph them and make them, you know, unique to my style. And that's the fun of this type of art. All right, that's all mixed in. I forgot to text my mother and tell her I was live, and now I have no idea where my phone is. Probably next to the coffee pot, which is calling my name when I get done with this video, y'all. So just scrape those sides. Get that Floetrol incorporated. So, you guys want to hear something cool? My mom is like the super supportive, right? I always mix too much paint. I start making out small amount, and it ends up being a ton of mixed paint, LOL. That's the funny thing, is why I decided to buy my cups with lids. Because when I do mix too much paint, I just kind of, I don't pour it all in the cup when I'm going to flip it. And then if I have too much paint left over, I will do other pours with that paint. And it's awesome. Angela. Cheers, girl. Cheers. Yes, ma'am. I am a coffee fanatic. I love coffee. I drink so many cups a day. I probably shouldn't admit that. I probably shouldn't say that out loud, but I love me some coffee, girl. So I'm just mixing my colors, making sure that all my Floetrol's mixed in. See, I'm not one of those people who, I don't worry about mixing too much paint. I would rather have too much paint than not enough to cover my canvas, because then when you don't have enough to cover your canvas and you're stuck like trying to hurry up and mix more color, and it just, I'd rather have more. Oh, decaf. So this color, if you guys can see in there when I move it around, I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of lumpy. The only thing that I do for that is I just mix and mix and mix and mix some more until I get as smooth as I can. And then when you start to add the water, it should smooth those lumps out. But if it doesn't, I have been known to cheat. I'll go grab another cup this size, and after I've added my water and there's still lump, oh yeah, totally a pretty yellow. I think this one is lemon yellow. When after I've added my water, I'll throw it throw the strainer on another cup, and I'll strain out the lumps so I can still use the color I've mixed. I know it sounds crazy, but if I take the time to sit here and mix this color, I want to use it, right? Do I ever use a frother? No, I've never used a frother. What does the frother do? Does it strain your paint as well? Teal, white, silver, and burnt umber. I love that color combo. For this color combo, I was actually looking at a sunset, believe it or not, you guys. And I thought that would be really cool as a pour. And I kind of, the colors that I remember and stood out to me were yellow, orange, teal, green, and purple. It's battery operated and it mixes paint. It adds air. Oh. Well, see, I don't want to add air to my paint. What the thing is my name is Amanda. I don't want to add the air to my paint. They use it for making coffee drinks. Yeah. Okay, so that's what they make the caramel macchiato with, right? Because that's what I drink from Starbucks. I let it sit for about 30 minutes after I've mixed it. And sometimes if I still see bubbles in there, I'll tap it lightly to kind of bump those bubbles up. But I don't want air in the paint because then the bubbles are going to pop during drying. Oh, don't feel silly, Sandra. My handle is my business name. And so a lot of people know me as Chroma, but I'm Amanda. But I'm in the process of redoing my website, and it just where you if you like it's hard to say, but I chose Chroma Storm Arts as a business name because it wasn't gender specific. It didn't sound like a girl or a boy. Because I thought to myself, if a man is going to buy his wife a piece of art, he's not going to go to Pretty Pretty Things. He's going to go to somewhere that sounds, cool or professional. So I didn't want anything that sounded too gender specific. Well, I just redid my website, and my boyfriend helps me do that. And he put butterflies and everything all over my website. And I was like, well, I love it. It looks beautiful. That's just not the look I was going for my thing. So I'm in the process of redoing it, he and I. And I think I found one to go, but the problem was the prices for my art wasn't showing up because it was white on white. So we had to figure out a way to do that without it looking like completely and utterly awful. He's pretty cool. He's pretty techy. So once again, I'm just adding my water a little squirt at a time. You don't want to add too much at a time. Girl, I hear you. I wonder if Camille is asleep. Camille is a really, really good friend of mine from Australia, and she typically watches my videos. I don't know. I didn't see her pop in. I hope she's doing well. Camille, I hope you're doing well if you watch this back. Sandra, where are you from? Still kind of gloopy. I'm going to sit it down here so you guys can see. Gloop, gloop, gloop. Nope, not what we're looking for, right? Add a little squirt. I don't know why, it's just more comfortable for me to hold the actual cup. Southern California. Oh, my sister lived in Chula Vista for years. I visited, it was amazing. I really miss it. My sister lived there. She was in the Navy, her and her husband, and they were stationed, he was stationed at Coronado, and she was stationed, I forget the name of hers, but she was a legal attendee in the Navy, so that was cool. Oh, I think that one's ready to go. It's nice and flowy. All right, Mr. Orange, I hope nothing happens to you this go round, because I may have more orange than I do any other color, simply because I had that little accident. But that's okay. I'm okay. Let me ask you guys something. I'm gonna tell you guys. I feel like it's better that I have these accidents while I'm doing lives, so that you guys can see, how you handle them and all that stuff. Do you guys agree? Would you guys rather see a live where everything is perfect and goes well, or would you rather see a live where accidents happen and you guys figure, you know, see how we figure things out together? Nope, not yet. Still gloopy. Oh. Oh yeah. That's the way I feel. I would rather see the accident so I can figure out how, so that I can see the other people fixing them, you know? I mean, I like to see the videos where it makes it look easy and it kind of gives me the confidence. It gives me confidence that I can actually do it, but in the same token, I'd rather see the accident so that I can see how someone goes about fixing it. Now, my Floetrol was already spraying, so of course, all I did was pour the Floetrol in the other colors. But, I mean, it's nice to know that you can actually do that, right? The way I figure it, they're going to get mixed in the cup anyway, so a little bit of orange in these colors isn't going to mess any of them up, right? So I'm going to, after I finish mixing all of these up, I'm going to let them sit for, like I said, about 30, maybe even 45 minutes. I'm going to work on mixing my other colors for my other pours while they're sitting. And right when I know you guys have seen me add the silicone on camera during my pours. That's because I wait to add my silicone. I don't let it sit in the thing. Yes. Yes, Sandra. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Okay, sidebar. That totally reminds me of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Just don't drink it. Like, I really want to Augustus Gloop it, man. Oh, gosh. The brown, I love it. I love it because it adds awesome contrast without it being black. I don't use a lot of black. Does anyone else use a lot of black? I think a little bit more water and we will be good to go on this brown. Chocolate. Look at that consistency. I like it. All right. Purple. I'm calling this purple, but the tube says brilliant magenta. But tell me that doesn't look purple to you guys. I'm sorry, but that legit looks purple to me. Right, Pat? Ooh, polymer clay. I've never tried polymer clay. I've had this idea. You know I pour on tiles, right, you guys? So I'm thinking I've got some plaster of Paris over here and some gesso boards. I think I want to do the tiles on the gesso boards kind of like bricks. Pretty. I like it. Green, I have. Nice. Ooh, yes, Sandra, go live and play with clay. Now, I love clay, and I love to watch that, all of that good stuff. Um, but I've never really. Yes, invite me too. Invite me too, Sandra. I would love to watch that. Let me pop over here and say on live. Someone is texting me. Okay, there we go. I would love to watch that. Has anybody watched Mirami's Small Arts? Marmy? Am I saying that right? I believe I am. It's up to you, Sandra. I have to be careful. We're not really supposed to say that word. People are getting their videos yanked for saying that word. Okay, gotta scrape the sides. They are, YouTube has bots that try to, well, it's basically a form of censorship. And because I'm going to say bus instead of that word. Okay, guys? So, because they started doing what they call bus parties, where you bus up and bus down, YouTube doesn't like that. It's kind of like fighting the man, kind of. And so they've decided that anybody who tries to do that, to get their videos yanked. And when they do that to you, you don't get your video back for like 3 months because they have to, like, I don't know, review it or something. I don't know. I'm listening to YouTubers talk and things that have happened to them. So I try to be really careful. It is ridiculous. You can't say certain things like crafters can't say glue GUN. They can't say exacto in KNIFE. you can't say certain things because you'll get your video yanked. And it, because of all the stuff that I guess in the world that's going on, they're trying to censor YouTube. I don't know how that works. I don't know a lot about it. All I know is that I paint and I make pretty things. They actually came up with a YouTuber union on Facebook. And if you wanted to learn more about that, let me see if I can show you on my phone. I had a friend that showed me, but they have a YouTube union on Facebook. And if you want to, if you're a creator and you have your own channel, you can go on here and join the union, and they can explain a lot of things to you as to what's going on and what the deal is. I'm still on the fence about joining it because I try to stay non-political. So I don't know if I want to do it. What do you guys think? Should I do it? I have a friend that's like, yes, yes, do it, do it. And then I have another friend that's like, no, stay out of it. Well, do you want me to hold it back up for you, Sandra? Yes, she can't say the word, you know. She had to hold up a sign for a long time because her videos kept getting yanked. How crazy is that? I mean, are you kidding me? Yeah, I know. I know. I'm a huge Lori Marie fan, and I absolutely love her. She's actually the reason why I actually got into She's the reason why I got into mixed media with pouring, and I just can't fathom her. She doesn't cuss. I hate politics. I mean, I can't stand them. Like, a lot of people will probably get mad at me for saying that, but I hate politics. Just moving some of the paint off of my tabletop here because I'm running out of room. Ugh. It's easy to run out of room when you guys are doing this, right? So I have my aqua blue color, nice and mixed. I have my orange, nice and mixed. It's pretty orange. I have yellow. I have white. I have my chocolate. Yum, yum, yum. I have a metallic green from Artist Loft. And I have purple. Well, I'm calling it purple. It says brilliant magenta, but that looks purple to me, you guys. So I'm going for the sunset comb pour. And I'm actually, this was just for mixing. This video was just for you guys to reference someone mixing. Yeah, raspberry to add with the chocolate. Absolutely. I'm going to do my cone pour on a video that I will be putting up next week. But this is one of my viewers asked me to do a mixing video, and I decided why not do it on live so that I can answer some questions or kind of, you know, hang out with you guys for a little while this morning. But really, the coffee is calling my name, so it's about time for me to hightail it and go grab that. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I know, right? And I hope you guys found this interesting, and that you guys will reference this. Thank you, Pat. It's always good to see you all. I'm really, really happy that you guys stopped in. I'm excited to do this pour, excited to play with this experiment. So, y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you very much, Cynthia. Oh, yeah, the coffee is going to be on and pop. It's going to be delicious. Delicious. I just got some new creamer to try. Thank you, Sandra. I hope you guys found this interesting, and I hope you guys had a good time. And please be inspired.